Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Russians are bringing more military equipment in Belarus, and I'm so far puzzled by that because I really can't grasp what the hell they are planning. Do they plan an invasion of the Russian troops, an attack on Kiev at the end? Are the Russians trying to keep the Ukrainians busy, a part of the, a chunk of their army, stuck over there busy at the border with Belarus? Are the Russians assuming that NATO or this bullshit in Ukraine will escalate to a direct confrontation in the end between NATO forces and the Russians just want to be already there in order to repel for a while this BS? Do they expect the Ukrainians to do anything? Do they expect the Poles to get involved in Ukraine and do something? Poles being part of NATO. I cannot figure it out. Maybe you guys have some ideas on that. But the Russians are bringing more troops over there. I have two articles, one from today and one from yesterday. Today's article is from Ukrainska Pravda, January 6th, 2023. Russia transfers another 50 military vehicles to Belarus. The Ministry of Defense of Belarus has reported that another convoy of Russian servicemen and military equipment arrived in the country. I thought that the Russians do not have anything. I mean, they don't have troops, they don't have weapons anymore. This is what we are told daily by the intelligence services of Great Britain and primarily and Ukraine. We have Budanov coming and telling us this, and then we have Ben Wallace telling us this, so must be true. The source is the Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Belarus. Now, quote from Belarusian Ministry of Defense: another convoy with servicemen and military equipment, which are part of the RGT, regional grouping of troops, the joint force deployed by Russia and Belarus, has arrived in the Republic of Belarus. The convoy is currently being unloaded. You can say, well, Emil, that's the explanation for you. Well, what they tell us that there is a group, a regional grouping of troops. Okay, I got that. But that's a plan for what? Just defense? Okay, all right. So, details. The Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Belarus also cited the chief of the communication of the division of the armed forces of the Russian Federation as saying that the soldiers who arrived, and I'm quoting, are ready to perform their assigned tasks in the event of a threat. Belaruski Hajun, that's the Belarusian news outlet that broke this news, noted that many Russian trucks that arrived in Belarus have the Z mark on them, a typical symbol that became strongly associated with Russian military aggression. According to the outlet data, about 43 KAM-AZ and Ural trucks, artillery tractors, 5 fuel tankers, 2 Zu-23-2 anti-aircraft guns, field kitchens, and water barrels arrived with the convoy. Belaruski Hajun noted that one of the cars had license plates of the 44th region of the Russian Federation, which is Western Military District. It is reported that the convoy with this equipment arrived in Bernanovich via Minsk and Fanipal on January 5. That's the other article I'm going to read. The photo published by the Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Belarus shows military equipment at the Polonka station, which is 25 kilometers from Baranovich, so that's about 18 miles. Previously, on January 6, Alexander Lukashenko, the self-proclaimed president of the Belarus, arrived at the 230th Obuz Lesna military training ground, where the Russian unit from the joint regional group of the Russian and Belarusian troops is stationed. on 28 December, Serhiy Deineko, the head of the State Board Guard Service of Ukraine, reported that currently Russia deployed a group of 10,200 troops in Belarus, and this number was not enough for an attack of Ukraine. You got them right. On January 2nd, it was reported that Russia and Belarus extended the training of the regional joint force of the so-called Union State, Russia and Belarus, until the list of January. On January 5, the Belarus Ministry of Defense asserted that personnel, weapons, military and special equipment of the Russian armed forces will continue to arrive in Belarus. The Belarusian army received another 34 armored vehicles from Russia, which were sent to the Brest district of Belarus. So they're bringing more stuff. And let's see the other article, which, as I said, comes from yesterday, from Ukrainska Pravda. Russian troops to continue arriving in Belarus, Belarusian defense minister states. So I think it's the same kind of article here. Personal weapons, military and special equipment of the Russian armed forces will continue to arrive in Belarus. Reportedly, the increase in the grouping of the Russian and Belarusian troops take place within the framework of ensuring the military security of the Union State. So they say it's a defensive move, but you never know, right? Further combat coordination activities are planned with the units of the Russian Federation arriving at the Belarusian training grounds. So, and then gave you the same background that I gave you in the previous article, which was actually from today, and this one was from yesterday. So 10,200 or whatever they were over there, it's not, how should I put it, something that you just ignore, unless those are just unprepared, very young troops. If they are trained people, because it's one thing to have the Spetsnaz over there, or it's another thing to have the regular guy that you grab from the street, 20 years old or 19 or 18, I don't know what the recruitment age is in Russia. I think is 18, and then you put him over there, dress him up and look at him and say, what the hell, did you graduate your high school yet? So it's a big difference, obviously. No training, no durability. That's another thing. I mean, when start being cold and you don't have food and you have to march and you have to stay in the trenches for hours and days, then you show how mature you are. So I don't know. The Russians over there could be used, as they say, as a defensive group, but it depends also what kind of armament you have. Because if you can be the best prepared guys, if you're just infantry and don't have supporting weapons over there and infrastructure, then nothing will happen. They would bomb the shit out of you and just roll over you with the tanks if necessary. So I don't know, I think it's just a little bit of showing presence. That's how I would interpret that. Showing presence with 10,000 people. I can't remember how many Belarusians are over there, 50,000 or so. That's anyway. But the fact is that these guys are bringing the troops over there. The Ukrainians are paying attention. They know it's not going to be an invasion. At least for the past 5 days, they stopped reciting the stupid mantra that Belarus will enter and will invade Ukraine and Poland and Germany tomorrow. I mean, it was dumb as hell, but hey, it worked. It worked. Why? Because you always have that segment of the society that would buy that. Why? Because they don't know. If you don't know, I can use 3 words in French right now and you think that Emil speaks French fluently. If you don't speak French. If you speak French, you kind of realize my limitations. So the same here. If you don't know anything about what's going on, you might be fed the idea that Belarus will go and attack Germany and win as well. So yeah, this is the people who vote. This is the electorate, and it's very educated. But yeah, I asked him about the latest musician or artist or whatever. I don't want to give any genre here, but or actors or actors, you know, those mimes that make millions, some of them. And they will tell you immediately. They know everything about everything in that department. Is it meaningful? No. But nevertheless, they're the best. They're the best. But the meaningful things? Nah, nah. But they vote on meaningful things. That's the problem. And then they nullify your vote and my vote and his vote and her vote. These people. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.